Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Predicts New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley 2023, taking place live tonight, 10 o'clock p.m., Fight New Japan World. Pre-show taking place at 9:20 p.m. on Fight New Japan World as well as YouTube, and taking place in the San Jose Civic in San Jose, California. If you're listening for the very first time or watching for the very first time, thank you very much. And this is my second show today. I did one with regards to Elimination Chamber. You can check it on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch, and audio as well. So it's all your favorite platforms as far as podcasting goes. But I almost brought back something else today, and I came close, but I'm not feeling 100%. I'm not sick or anything like that, but just got the sniffle, so to speak. So anyways, I was thinking, you know what, two shows today is just enough, especially considering the fact I'm just finally getting back into this, and I am enjoying it once again. And but like I said, New Japan Pro Wrestling NJPW Battle in the Valley 2023 taking place live tonight, 10 o'clock p.m. for the official pay-per-view there. We've got, how many matches do we got taking place? I know we got two for the pre-show, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My 4-year-old would be proud of me that I can actually count. So 10 matches in total, 2 on the pre-show, as well as 8 on the pay-per-view, the main show there. I think it's $19.99 for the pay-per-view tonight, so and not too bad. And you consider the fact some of these matches are absolutely amazing. Even the two the pre-show matches are absolutely cool as well. But Elimination Chamber as well as Battle in the Valley 2023 going to be taking place simultaneously at 10 p.m. It's wrestling fans, one of those times you kind of wish you could have commercial breaks, so you could flip it back and forth, or you got two TV screens or monitors or whatever the case may be. You can watch both at the same time, but either way, you're in luck as far as pay-per-views tonight go. So pre-show, like I said, 2 matches taking place tonight, and I don't necessarily have to go in what I think is important, because New Japan has always been great with regards to announcing what matches are going to take place when. Barring injury or any kind of sickness, illness protocols, New Japan's pretty accurate as far as the match announcements go when they're going to take place. So you kind of know what's what and where it's going to be taking place there. So like I said, kickoff pre-show taking place 9:20 tonight for free. Fight New Japan World as well as YouTube. 2 matches taking place. Singles match to start it out. JR Kratos taking on Alex Coughlin. This should be interesting. 2 big boys going at it, as they say. It's going to be a good kickoff pre-show match for free. JR Kratos, familiar with him the most for me anyways, is back in the days of the NWA. Coughlin just is one of those big bad dudes. And, that being said, I got to go with Coughlin in this one here for the win. I haven't seen too much of JR Kratos lately. It's just been so much wrestling on TV. But based on what I know between the two big boys there, I'm going to say Coughlin for the win in this one there. Second match of the night, pre-show as well for free. Singles match, one and only infamous Bobby Fish taking on David Finlay. And I'm a huge fan of Bobby Fish. Everything he did in the WWE as well as AEW, ROH, New Japan, everything that he's done in his career. But I'm a huge fan of David Finlay. Didn't really know too much about him. Obviously, Finn Juice back there in New Japan, over in Japan, anyways. And then he came, and huge fan of Impact Wrestling. Anybody who knows me knows that. And I was watching them do their thing, him and Juice Robinson in Impact Wrestling, and man, this guy is freaking talented. And when I say talented, he's could break it as a single star any day of the week. Obviously, famous father and the one and only Fit Finlay. But that being said, I can't think of any reason at all Bobby Fish goes over in this one here. I'm going to say David Finlay for the win. Juice Robinson's doing his thing at AEW. David Finlay can do his thing, continuously for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like I say, David Finlay for the win in this one here. So those are your 2 free pre-show matches of the night. Like I said, 9:20 taking place, Fight New Japan World as well as YouTube. Then we get on to the main show taking place at 10 p.m. And like I said, 8 big matches taking place. And this is the order that New Japan Pro Wrestling has them in. So I'll read them up. I will go through my thoughts and then basically give you my predictions for there. Like I said, 10 big matches in total for the night, including the 2 on the pre-show, 8 big matches for the pay-per-view. including the beginning match, the show opener, 8-man tag team match. You got Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, Kushida, and the DKC taking on Rocky Romero, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest, and Mascara Dorada. People have seen Mascara Dorada, obviously AEW make an appearance there, but he was the former Grand Metalik. And I said I was going to say this on the show, but the fact is WWE wasted him. And it is good to see him doing his thing, perfecting his skills once again, in New Japan, any place else he goes. But again, it's now Mascara Dorada, and he's one of those high flyers, and anybody who's a fan of Lucha Libre, knows a lot about Mascara Dorada. But the other elements in this, Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, Kushida, DKC, and then obviously you got Rocky Romero, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest. I'm not too familiar with. I had to Google him earlier, and they basically it looks like a good young up and comer there. Then you've obviously got the experience of the Impact Wrestling World Champion Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero, who's been doing his thing forever seemingly. You got the DKC, Kevin Knight, Kushida, who you've seen tag recently with regards to Impact Wrestling, for fans over here and in North America, and then Volador Jr. There is so many different elements as far as this match goes, and you've got to think of these guys outside of their elements. So you got to think of Josh Alexander as Josh Alexander, not Josh Alexander World Champion, because this is a different game. And when you put Kushida, for example, in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring, and Kevin Knight, and obviously Rocky Romero on Josh Alexander's side, it's like it could go any way, in the world. And so, saying that, when I look at this, I've got to say it's too I'm going to say it's too strong. Obviously the strong reference there, but I'm going to say Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, Kushida, and DKC for the win. I'm going to say Kushida goes and pins. I'm going to say Rocky Romero in this one here. Kushida, I mean, again, another wasted talent that was there in WWE that they did nothing with. And now he's back in New Japan, his home base. And, with that being said, and Kushida doing his thing in Japan, obviously, as well as Impact Wrestling, it's given the big win here on pay-per-view, especially there in San Jose. So I'm going to say Kushida for the win, going over Rocky Romero in this one. So that would be Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, Kushida, and DKC for the win in the 8-man tag team match. Next match of the night, I'm actually looking forward to, and I'd like to say I'm going to flip over from Elimination Chamber, but I can't because it's Sami Zayn in Montreal. But second match of the night, New Japan Strong Openweight Championship match. You got Fred Rosser as champion defending against the one and only Kenta. This is interesting as well because the influence of that Forbidden Door being busted wide open, and it has been for better part of a couple of years now. And Fred Rosser, he's done well as New Japan Strong champion, the openweight champion there. But I'm going to say tonight is the night we get a new champion. I'm going to say Kenta for the win in this one here. And I think Kenta was just recently announced with regards to Impact Wrestling. So that'll be an element of surprise there, seeing Kenta with that championship in Impact Wrestling. So I'm going to say Kenta for the win in this. I'm going to say it's going to be a good, strong matchup between the two. And there's that strong reference again. But I'm going to say Fred Rosser, as well as he's done as champion, I'm going to say Kenta for the win in this one. So, and hashtag and new. Next match of the night. And I can't see the championships changing hand in this one. A little bit of a bias, but New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship match. Motor City Machine Guns as champs, taking on the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is Jorel Nelson and Royce Isaacs. Royce Isaacs familiar with because of NWA Wrestling as well. Huge fan of Motor City Machine Guns, have been for a while. Watching what they do at this, at this age, at their age, so to speak. This stage of their professional career is absolutely amazing. Every now and then you'll see, so we have Fight Network here in Canada, and all of a sudden you'll see highlights, in between commercial breaks for Impact Wrestling and this and that, and they'll do like top fives or whatever the case may be. And you'll see Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley when they're younger, and they're doing the exact same moves now. And to me, I haven't seen them kind of even slow down. It's absolutely amazing. And to know they're double champions right now. So Impact, tag team champions, as well as the New Japan Strong Openweight tag team champions. Keep them strong, especially this stage of their career, like I said. But Motor City Machine Guns, obviously, for the win in this one. This is interesting. So I am a fan, and I'm a little bit biased here too. I am a fan of F4WOnline.com. So, as well as Wrestling Observer, I am a contributor for their website with regards to Impact Wrestling. I was doing it full time. Not anymore. I'm just kind of doing it on a part-time basis. There's just way too much that was going on. Shout out to Josiah McDonald, who's doing a fine job over there. But every now and then, you'll see my name attached to Impact Wrestling. That being said, I'm privileged to listen to the podcasts that come along on, the Wrestling Observer Figure Four, online, so to speak. And that being said, I see this news article with regards to loser leaves New Japan match announced for tonight. And I'm like, okay, what the heck happened? And then all of a sudden I go into it, and it was all because of Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive. And I was like, okay, what the heck just happened? So obviously, it was part of Wrestling Observer Live, which if you don't catch the show when it airs live, you got to wait for the podcast to be put up. Well, they're pretty good on the website, and they did it. They usually do it within a couple minutes. I say a couple minutes, usually about 30 to 45 minutes or so, and then you'll see the live show put up. So I waited patiently. All of a sudden, I didn't have to wait that long because I'd gone and picked up my daughter and my wife, and then, come back home, and I see this and I read the article, and then sure enough, I download it, and I get to the very end and listen to it. And sure enough, it was supposed to be Eddie Kingston on the show. And anyways, Brian Alvarez, he's like, yeah, my main man, Switchblade Jay White is on the show right now, and this and that. And then all of a sudden, they have a guy named Producer Dom. And Dom's in the background. He's kind of freaking out. He's like, Brian, you got to take this call. You got to take this call. And Brian's always about, nobody calls his number. Don't ever answer this phone, so to speak. So that being said, it's Eddie Kingston on the other line. And Brian has to remind them right away. He's like, guys, you can't swear, it's national radio. So, Kingston obviously almost drops a few bombs a couple times, but they get into it, and Kingston says, hey, you know what? You're already out of Japan. How about I get you out of the promotion? How about I do everybody a favor? And Switchblade is kind of like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But if you lose, it happens to you too. And then Switchblade makes another thing. He's like, yeah, he goes, Eddie makes a condition. He's like, if you ever go to wrestle for a company like AEW, for example, you're not allowed to wrestle anybody who's part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, Switchblade's like, okay. And anyways, Jay comes back and he goes, he says, blah, 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 same sort of thing. And if you want to ever wrestle, you have to get on your hands and knees and beg and blah, 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 blah. And this is live on the air at the time. And I'm like, holy crap, this all played out on a podcast to get to this match. But obviously, loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling match. Eddie Kingston taking on the one and only Switchblade Jay White. I was surprised when Jay White lost to Hikuleo. Obviously, I got to see him here in London. I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Main event for the championship for a company called Smash Wrestling here, and he ended up losing babyface Jay White. So this was all before the Switchblade character. Long story short, though, man, if I can go back in time, I would have autographed, meet the guy, selfie, all that sort of stuff. To know how far he's come with his gimmick, with his look, with his wrestling skills, to know he was IWGP champion at one point, twice, I believe. The whole Bullet Club thing, to see him here in North America, Impact Wrestling, everything he's done, AEW, Forbidden Door. And I'm thinking to myself, man, what is next for this guy? I don't want to see him go to WWE. I tell you that much there. If he goes to AEW, there is potential he still can work for New Japan, but Eddie Kingston's got to be involved that way as well. But if he goes to AEW, he can also do the Impact Wrestling thing if Tony Khan allows him to. Long story short, I'm going to say this. Eddie Kingston wins tonight, and the future of Jay White is up in the air. If he debuts at WrestleMania, that would be something. Cody Rhodes, the way he did it last year. But to me, I want to see him stay within the New Japan kind of wrestling world, so to speak. Being biased, Impact Wrestling, and then of course AEW. But it sucks to see Jay White leave New Japan entirely. And with this stipulation being announced, and it was cool to listen to, and you've got it if you can find it online, listen to it. Just the back and forth. It was good, probably 10-minute segment of Eddie going back and forth with Jay with regards to the stipulation there. But I got to say, Jay White is out of New Japan Pro Wrestling as of tonight, and we'll have to wait and see what the future holds. Eddie Kingston, you suck. But as a wrestling fan, it's just the way it is, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Jay White post match. As far as his career goes. And Hikuleo was, kind of dagger number one. Eddie Kingston's going to be dagger number two. And we'll have to wait and see what happens with Jay White. So anyways, long story, finally coming to an end. Eddie Kingston for the win. So from one hardcore guy with regards to Eddie Kingston, we go to Filthy Rules Fight, which is the next match. No ropes, no DQ, pinfall, submission, or knockout only. So the only reason the referee exists in this match is basically he's not going to break anything up. He's going to basically say the guy is knocked out, the guy submits, or 1, 2, 3, that's it. Filthy Rules Fight. So it's Filthy Tom Lawler taking on the one and only Homicide. And this is going to be interesting. Filthy Tom, I've heard about the guy for like ever, but I haven't seen a lot of his work. Mainly, I've known about who he was because of Brian Alvarez. But he's a mainstay right now. He's doing well with regards to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Homicide is one of those guys who never seems, to retire. Will never seem to retire, so to speak. He's been around forever. But Filthy Rules Fight, I'm going to say Filthy Tom Lawler in this one. And I'm going to go out on a whim right now. Because this is taking place in San Jose, Dave Meltzer, the whole Wrestling Observer thing that happened on Thursday with regards to Eddie and Switchblade. For those that don't know, Filthy Tom Lawler is tag team partners with Brian Alvarez. I don't know if they still use the name, but they used to have a name called the Chop and Roll Express. Because of that, I'm going to say Brian Alvarez, of all people, gets involved in this match. And I'm going to say he is the reason Homicide loses. That is a complete kind of way out there in left field kind of a prediction. But because it's in San Jose and it's Meltzer territory, and because Brian Alvarez is down there in Washington, just around the corner, I'm going to say Brian Alvarez gets involved. He has been back at it as far as wrestling goes. Granny hasn't been too happy with him with regards to Brian Alvarez. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Tom Lawler, with the assistance of Brian Alvarez, wins over Homicide tonight. So there's a heavy prediction right there. Then we go into the last three matches of the night, all championship matches. New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV Championship match. Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Clark Connors. If you'd asked me several months ago, I would have said Clark Connors. But because of the new kind of attitude of Zack Sabre Jr., and here's a guy who I could not stand Cruiserweight Classic. Post that, boring wrestler, had not much of a gimmick at all. He has transitioned himself, same way Switchblade did. And because of that, I'm going to say ZSJ for the win in this one here. Clark Connors, like I said a couple months ago, I would have said definitely Clark Connors, but tonight, I'm going to say Zack Sabre Jr. for the win and to retain the New Japan World Television Championship in this match there. And then we get to the double main event. Double main event number one. And I don't agree with this. I think this should have been the last match, hence the graphic on the opening part of the show. But I'm going to say this. Kairi versus Mercedes Moné should have been the main event. No disrespect towards Okada and Tanahashi, because I love those two guys too. But the amount of times Okada and Tanahashi have faced each other, and obviously we get the debut of Mercedes Moné, and we get Kairi. I think that should have been the main event. I know they call it double main event, but I think they should have been the main event, considering the fact that basically had just come out with the women's championship not too long ago. Kairi wins it. Mercedes Moné makes her debut. Heavy social media presence coming along with that. Like the fans were like excited about it. And all of a sudden, anyway, I'm going to say that should have been the main event. But IWGP Women's Championship match, Kairi as champion taking on Mercedes Moné. Do they pull the trigger in this one? Does Mercedes Moné, in her first match, not first appearance, but first match for New Japan Pro Wrestling, does she win? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, 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 simply because of the fact with the previously known as Sasha Banks, the way that she presented herself as champion, the way that she presented herself in that company, the brand legacy that she had behind herself, just being able to be like, to basically, she represented herself well back in the WWE. Can she do it again? I want to see her given that chance. I want to see her given that chance. I want to see basically, Mercedes Moné have the opportunity to be champion and basically see where she can go with it. So Kyrie isn't going anywhere. She's not going to look weak for losing this. I'm going to say, I think New Japan, the website there had said that Kyrie is 1-0 for the two of them. So they've had one match prior to this, and Kyrie won. So it's a good chance to set up for a third match between the two. Obviously, it wasn't New Japan, but I'm going to say this: Kyrie is going to lose the title tonight to Mercedes Moné. She's going to walk out there of California as new IWGP Women's Champion. So Mercedes Moné for the win in double main event part 1. And then we go on to double main event part 2. So two legends going at it here. Kazuchika Okada as champion, taking on the one and only ace Hiroshi Tanahashi. So, it's two legends going at it, and I think the way the match was presented is Okada kind of called Tanahashi out and said basically, "Hey, can you still go?" And Tanahashi was like, "Yeah, I can always go. I'm always ready." And it's going to be interesting to see if Tanahashi has his teeth fixed, because apparently rumor has it he bit into a protein bar over there in Japan and lost 3 of his false teeth. And somebody had said that they don't know if he's had enough time to get them fixed before this. So does he wear a mouth guard? Tanahashi's a great image, a good-looking guy, but missing teeth. it'd be quite the scene in the main event here. But beyond that, two legends going at it with Okada and Tanahashi. And you know what? With everything that's been going on with regards to New Japan Pro Wrestling and looking strong once again and putting Okada on top, Tanahashi, I don't think has it in him tonight to be able to win against Okada. I think it's going to be a great match in front of that sold-out crowd tonight at the San Jose Civic. But I'm going to say Okada for the win in this one to retain the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in the main event part 2. So guys, those are my picks for tonight. This has been long. I think I only did 16 minutes for WWE, and I'm already up to almost 24 in this one. But I'm excited. I always get excited about talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. And way back in the day, I had the opportunity to write for Wade Keller for the PW Torch, doing I think it was called the New Japan Pro Wrestling Weekly Overview, and I think I did 13 episodes of that, all just all writing and everything else. But I enjoyed it, and I realized how much I loved New Japan Pro Wrestling back in the day, to the point if COVID hadn't broken out 2021, I would have been in not in New Japan, but I would have been in Japan for Wrestle Kingdom. But obviously that didn't play out. But there's always next year and the year after, and I will eventually get to Japan to get over there for Wrestle Kingdom. But guys, like I said, 10 big matches taking place tonight. And as far as my predictions go, pre-show, 2 matches taking place. I'm going to say Coughlin, like I said, over Kratos. In singles match, David Finlay over Bobby Fish. Then we get to the pay-per-view. And then I said basically it's going to be, what did I say in this one here? Oh, yeah. Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, Kushida in the DKC over Rocky Romero, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest, and Mascara Dorada. And I even said one more. I'm going to say Kushida pins Rocky Romero in this one. New Japan Strong Openweight Championship match, Kenta over Rosser for the win and the new champion there. Motor City Machine Guns retain against the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Eddie Kingston sucks, but he beats Jay White, and Jay White is officially out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Filthy Rules fight Filthy Tom Lawler with the assist of the one and only Brian Alvarez, defeats Homicide. I'm going to say Zack Sabre Jr. retains the New Japan World TV Championship over Clark Connors. Kyrie loses the IWGP Women's Championship against Mercedes Moné, making her official in-ring debut. And Kazuchika Okada retains against Hiroshi Tanahashi to remain IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So, guys, those are my predictions for tonight. New Japan Battle in the Valley 2023 live at 10 p.m. Fight New Japan World. Pre-show taking place 9:20. Fight New Japan World and YouTube. And like I said, San Jose Civic in San Jose, California. And I don't know why I said California like that. But anyways, as always, you can check me out at Chris Maloney, CWN, Instagram, as well as Twitter. I am the CWN founder and editor, still getting a kick at that little white space that's down below there. I'll have to see what I can do with doing interviews and stuff like that. But guys, I have enjoyed being back. I've enjoyed doing this podcast again with regards to CWN Predicts. Weekly will happen once again. I thought about going monthly. I thought about going just CWN live whenever I felt like it, but no. And I talked to my wife about it, and she's cool. So CWN Weekly will return in the near future, as well as CWN Predicts doing it this way and not just on the website will continuously take place as well. But almost half it. See, I'm excited to be doing podcasts again. You can tell I'm 26 minutes in. But guys, that is it. Enjoy New Japan Battle in the Valley 2023 tonight. As always, check me out at Chris Maloney, CWN website, cwnonline.ca. And like I always say, thank you very much for watching and listening. And I will see everybody again sometime soon.